And welcome to another edition of the Bullheaded Podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. NBA playoffs got started this past weekend. Sadly,
Sir.
Zoo, Bulls couldn't get involved. Unfortunately, I was out watching the game live. Max Strus just decided to.
He went off.
It was a revenge game from his Windy City Bulls G League days, man. That's all I'll say. So we're not going to focus on the Bulls too much today. We got a lot to talk about in the NBA playoffs, man. There's been some exciting series and then some rather boring series. So typical first round in the NBA, man.
Yeah, Max Strus ended my Bulls season. The brother looked like Ray Allen, man. Every time that dude caught and shot the ball, Jimmy drive, Max Strus catches the ball. Look, cash. Bulls are up 3 with 3 minutes left. Shit the bed like usual. It's like it's a microcosm of the season, man. You get a little hope. 3 minutes left. They were D'ing up. Like they were giving effort, passion, rebounding, showing effort on screens. But man, oh man, just couldn't hit a basket for the last 3 minutes. And Jimmy G buckets was getting buckets, man. It was just
doing his job.
It was just sadness and sorrow, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Jimmy Butler ended the Bulls so poetically. Justice right there, man. We traded him. We traded him.
Here is a whimmer, like a little sliver, small little sliver. So I saw this on TBS Sports, and I meant to put this on the Bullheaded page, like the story. But since the Bulls have a 1.8% chance to get Victor Wembanyama.
Same as Rose.
Rose was 1.7. So
there you go.
Technically, you have a better chance to get Victor Wembanyama, and trust you will believe, if Victor Wembanyama goes to the Bulls, we might have an actual, like, just 2-day week pod of just, like, every lineup, merchandise, everything that comes with Victor Wembanyama. We're going to be talking about it.
And I won't even have to talk. Zoo, just take it from there. Let's be honest.
So,
speaking of Victor Wembanyama, I'm going to give out a prediction right now, man. I'm looking at the draft lottery order right now. The Mavericks are 10th right now currently. It's top 10 protected.
I swear.
So if the Dallas Mavericks drops out, that means someone else has to jump in the top 4. Guess who's pissed off at the Dallas Mavericks? Mr. Adam Silver, because the brother was like had to find them $750,000 for openly taking, Joe Dumars' words, embarrass the league. It was openly taking and talking about it. So right now, if I'm the commissioner and I have to do a little finessing, you see the Bulls busting their butt off trying to make the play-in tournament. Bulls jump into the top 4.
Conspiracy, you say?
Mavericks falls out, get the 11th pick, they tank, and they still lose their pick to the New York Knicks.
All right, let's hope, man.
Slap in the face to Mark Cuban saying, ha, 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 that's what you get for tanking. You see the Bulls trying, they jump in the top 4.
Wishful thinking,
chicken, baby, we back. Poetic
it's actually not too crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I could see it. I already think that stuff's rigged. So I do think it's rigged. So I wouldn't be shocked if that happened.
Just think about it. That would be a huge middle finger to Mark Cuban for tanking, and
I think
Jason Kidd talking about, it was a decision from the front office of the upper management for making the decision of tanking. So if they do this and be like, that's what you get. Oh baby, that's what you get for taking, Mark Cuban. You don't get
That'd be a little obvious from the NBA side, though, Zoo, if they decided to do that.
No. I gotta say, Ernst & Young's auditing 1.8, baby, 1.8. It's possible.
Okay.
1.8
I'm
times
hoping.
out of 100 attempts, man. Let's get it done, Adam Silver.
We definitely.
Let's get it done.
We definitely need some more conspiracies on how the NBA lottery is going to go this year, because I kind of think, and we're definitely about to get to the playoffs, guys who are watching, but I definitely do think that this lottery and this whole Victor Wembanyama is going to be like I don't know when the show comes on. I think it's like kind of around the finals, I think, or something like that.
Somewhere around there.
But I do think it's going to be one of the more watched shows. So I do think some little intrigue and theories are going to come within that whole atmosphere of the NBA draft. But speaking of the NBA draft, we're talking about the NBA playoffs. And boy, I tell you what, the first round, like, Peebush kind of said earlier, it's definitely always going to be some, teams are going to get blown out. it's going to be some matches where the stars are not going to show up because it's a lot of 1-8, 2-7 matchups. But with all the injuries that have happened, it has been a little bit undecided in terms of how some of these series are going to end up going. So I wanted to start off in the Eastern Conference and kick it off with P-Bush. What interests you? What series have you been looking at so far?
I mean, I think that the most competitive one, barring Giannis having, an extended injury, I think that's kind of the big one, because I do think, the Heat they played him well. I mean, they also lost one of their best players and a guy who was putting up a pretty nice game before he got hurt in Tyler Hero. I think he had like 12 points, was, pretty efficient shooting, obviously out with broken hand fingers. I think we were just talking, we're not 100% sure, but either way, he's out 4 to 6 weeks. Giannis, it's questionable for game 2 tomorrow night. We'll see how it is. Chris Middleton came in and had a pretty damn good game. I think they really need Drew Holiday, if Giannis is out, to do that 50-piece type performance that we saw a couple weeks back. So I do think that that's still a series to watch. But if Giannis is playing, I just don't see Bam really giving him much. He can't do anything against Giannis, and most people can't in the NBA. So that is one to watch, just kind of monitor, especially game 2, and see how Giannis is playing. But man, oh man, I'm watching this Knicks-Cavs series, man. This is a fun one to watch. Pretty physical. I think we all expected this to likely be the best Eastern Conference first-round matchup. Donovan Mitchell, he's one of those guys where the Knicks are saying, okay, you go get your 35 to 38 points. We're fine with that. But we're going to make sure that Garland, Mobley, Okoro, all these other guys are going to have a tough time getting shots, or kind of force them into being playmakers and just letting Donovan Mitchell go ISO. And they're saying, hey, we think we can still beat you, especially if Brunson, who was in early foul trouble in game 1. I think that was a big thing that a lot of people were concerned about. Randall actually ended up kind of holding his own. He didn't shoot that efficiently, but they played great defensively. Got a big game from Josh Hart. I think he put up 17 and 10 in the first game. That's always nice. I'm sure the camaraderie between him and Brunson has been a huge plus for this team since the trade deadline. But man, if Brunson comes back in, playing with 3 fouls as aggressive as he did was, I think it's just a testament to what we saw last year. This guy has proven himself in big situations in the playoffs. Obviously, it's just game 1. We got game 2 going on live right now this Tuesday. I think this series is going 7. Now, granted, they did steal one in Cleveland, and I don't know what the score is right now, but if they go up 2-0 going back to New York, man, I mean, this series could be over.
It might be a gentleman's sweep.
It could be a gentleman's sweep. So the Cavs have a must-win tonight, but I think if they do win tonight, this series is at least going 6. Would not be surprised if it's going 7. But I just think the defensive prowess of the Knicks, unless they get real help from guys like Okoro, and Mobley needs to have much better games. I think I got this Knicks winning the series, man, pretty easily.
Pretty easily. Wow. So
because Donovan's going to get his, man.
The Brunson effect, man.
It is true, man. Before the series, I look at the rosters top to bottom right now. I'm looking at who's more talented. Cleveland Cavaliers, man. I'm going with the Cavs talent, man, over the New York Knicks, man. But I had it the Cavs in 7. After one game, nothing has changed for me, man. Nothing has changed for me. I know all about the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, man, he's playing like an all-star point guard. He's probably going to make All-NBA this year. His ability to control pace, to make jump shots, to make threes, and facilitate for this Knicks offense is quite impressive, man. And you know what Tibbs likes to do with his point guard? He rides hard on the man.
Yeah,
Brunson is going to be playing heavy minutes, man. Like Jalen Brunson as an operator of this offense, like RJ Barrett, I don't have any expectation for RJ Barrett, man. He's just not that good of an offensive player yet. He's a really good defensive player, really good athlete, man, but I don't trust him. You know my thoughts about Julius Randle in the playoffs, man. He's a hit or miss for me, man. I don't see that brother showing up. So I feel like this offense is just going to ride or die with Jalen Brunson putting up elite games. And what Brunson did in game 1 was an elite game. Shout out to Josh Hart. He had an unbelievable game. Getting offensive rebounds, hustling, and then hitting like all his jump shots. Like Josh Hart's not known for shooting, but he has showed up on the New York Knicks, man, and looking like one of the best acquisitions Knicks team got. They flipped Cam Reddish, who's a player that Tom Thibodeau clearly did not trust, into Josh Hart, who's playing meaningful minutes on this roster and and will be in the closing lineups for this team. So that acquisition was huge. But man, D Mitch almost fronted that comeback. He legit went 1-on-5. He went 1-on-5, and I feel
yeah.
like Darius Garland still hasn't showed up yet. This guy's a pure shooter, man. So I don't think that this guy's not going to he's going to be putting up some monster games because of his shooting ability. He will not need to get into the paint with this Knicks like rough house defense with Mitch Robinson down there, who's just a big body with long arms taking up space. So they need his shooting. Isaac Okoro, that dude is trash. That's my one weakness. I always talk about the wing position on this roster is the biggest hole on this team. They cannot rely on this dude. They're going to help off of him and double team anyone else outside of Okoro. Like they can double team the bigs off of him, double team the guards. So obviously Jetty Osman is going to be a key guy to contribute on hitting some 3-pointers, man. But for me, man, I'm still going with the Cavs and going with the talent, even though the Knicks roster in game one, I'm very, very impressed. But I ain't changed my mind about the talent, man. I just think that there's a talent deficiency compared to the Cavs to the Knicks. I'm going with the talent right now with the Knicks getting it done. And I have the Cavs winning tonight to tie up the series, and I think I see them splitting in Madison Square Garden. So I think
he's going 2-2
after 4 games. So
that's fair.
Best of 3.
Exactly. And I'm excited about it because, man, the young players on this, man, we'll see who shows up in the clutch, man. We'll see. Because I know D. Mitch and Brunson will be
they'll get there.
Getting there. It's like we saw Brunson last year be pretty much a go-to guy in the playoffs, and Donovan Mitchell's playoff career has been historically good, one of the all-time scorers, averaging almost 28 points a game. So we'll see the others can help them out to get it done because D. Mitchell will need some help on this roster.
I think he needs a bigger game from Garland too. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
17, and he's got to at least get 22 for you. I know 5 points. Maybe not a difference in game one. Obviously, I think it ended up being about a 5-point game. But just going forward, I think he just needs. And to be honest, it's not like he shot inefficiently. I don't think he shot inefficiently during that game. It's just that Donovan Mitchell took 30 shots, I think. So, right, he was, like you said, Sue, he decided that he needed to go 1-on-5, and that was the only way they had a chance. Came up short.
Did we lose him?
I think we lost B. Bush.
Oh, no, I think we got him back. Can you hear us?
I'm back? No. I'm all good. That was it.
Oh,
yep.
All right. Oh, but, yeah, one thing I will say about Donovan Mitchell, everybody knows he's like an electric scorer. He's a guy that can go get 40, 45, 50, whatever. But I think for this particular team, I know what he did in Utah that was required because you had Rudy Gobert kind of as your second option, and that's not really a second offensive option, so you kind of got to go nuclear mode. But I think for this team, he needs to be, and to your point about Garland, maybe he just needs to be more assertive. But I think Mitchell, even though I would say out of Garland and Mitchell, Garland's probably a little bit of a better passer. Mitchell needs to be more aware and get his teammates involved because everybody knows that he can go get 40. And for all we know, the Knicks could be like, with Thibodeau being the defensive guru he is, like, yeah, let Mitchell get whatever he wants. But if we make Garland ineffective, if we make Mobley ineffective, and, Okoro, obsolete, then they're not going to win that series. I think Mitchell's going to have to become more self-aware of, maybe they don't need to take these many shots in this series. And maybe, if, say, I get, 2 or 3 shots to go down, if Garland throws me the ball because I'm on a heater, throw it back to Garland. But no, you go get it now. That needs to be communicated because I do think if Mitchell just keeps going crazy, I really think, especially if the, Knicks end up winning tonight, it could get dicey because I even if the Knicks end up going up 2-0, I really do think it could be a gentleman's sweep because then you're going to have, I don't know what the Knicks call themselves. Is it Knicks Nation, whatever? I don't know. But they're going to be crazy. Like, they're going to be feeling themselves, that crowd, that environment. D-Mitch may still go crazy, but you're not, if the other guys don't have rhythm, it's just not going to be a good thing for the Cavs. And I think this is just part of the growing process for them. And I also think, too, with Mobley, we might be asking a lot for him to be, like, offensively involved. Like, he doesn't have a game. He doesn't have that game yet. He's a hustle guy. He's a defensive guy, but I don't think he has the game yet. Now, he can shoot the 3, and he has, like, the ability, but he just doesn't have, I would say, I wouldn't even say he has like the role because I feel like the pecking order is Mitchell, Garland, then him. So, I think Mobley's going to have to still grow into that. So expecting him to, give me 20 every other night, I don't think that's happening. So it's interesting. Like I said, before the series, I picked the Knicks because it's just Brunson, bro.
Yeah, same.
Like I said, I've been wrong on Brunson. I was thinking he was a product of Luka last year, but this year it's obvious that he's the leader. when the offense runs through him, he's not nervous. He's not scared. He's just a good player. So, for me, that's how I look at that series. Heat, Bucks, to me, is injuries. So that's all what that is. What I'm interested in is, even though Sixers in Brooklyn, one little thing I want to bring up, I am going to be interested in this is looking ahead, but if the 76ers play Boston, what is the roles going to be of Maxey and Harden? Because it's obvious that Maxey, to me, needs to be the second option. He's got to be the second option.
Yep.
And I know Harden's the star, and Harden has the capability still. But if you're just watching the game currently, not going off of past and what Harden has done, I'm going to be interested to see how it looks when Harden is really, if you're trying to win that series, if he's the third option, and almost if you make Harden more of the point that's just setting up guys like Maxey and Embiid. I'm going to be real interested in that.
Right now on the roll, like James Harden first game, he actually had like a pretty good game, like pretty good game for playoff Harden. Like historically had some really bad games. Game two is god awful, absolutely god awful. Like you see the guy get in the lane and try to flail and get a call. He's just like missing bunnies at the rim. Like his ability to finish at the basket is surprisingly bad. Like this guy put up 36 a game a couple seasons ago, and he's a shell of his former self. Like legit, he has regressed so much. Like I don't blame the injuries or blame him being out of shape. I don't want to hear that no more. You're in a contract year. You're trying to prove yourself on this 76ers team to get a $200 million deal. You cannot have games when you have 8 points on 3 for 13 shooting. You're lucky that your teammates, aka your backcourt mate, Tyrese Maxey, who is a baby. Like you see his coach that he played for, John Calipari, at the game, because he was coach a couple of years ago, and this dude is dropping 33 points in the playoffs. This guy shoots with confidence. I loved him last year. This year's integrated, like came off the bench, put him in the starting lineup. This guy's a buck. He averaged 20 a game in the regular season, obviously up to scoring level. And in the playoffs, doesn't look phased at all. He plays with high-level confidence, man. Good ball handling, elite three-point shooting. Got the confidence, man. Clutch Sports knows what they got in this brother, man. Tyrese Maxey as a scorer is the number 2 option right now. Harden is going to be more in that, I would say, CP3 right now, type of role. Like you got KD, D-Book, you got Joel Embiid, who's an absolute monster, and you got Tyrese Maxey, the secondary scorer who could shoot in the paint really fast and an elite sniper. Like Joel Embiid, as you saw the Brooklyn Nets, they were just double teaming him every single time. Yeah. Like every single time. They didn't
only chance
this guy put up 33 a game. Like they had nobody to guard him. Trying to let someone else beat you, man. They're going with that strategy. Obviously, they can't stop the brothers. So legit Tyrese Maxey, even Tobias Harris, man, with the 20-piece, man.
Yeah.
14, like he's playing his role right now. So like Harden lucky that his teammates are covering for him, playing like a bum. Like his first game, I was like, dang, Harden actually had a decent game, but now he's regressing. Like he's up and down the playoffs. He's
not consistent enough.
Something about him, like sometimes I see is like if his jump shot is not falling, like the reason game 1 he was good, it was hitting his threes.
Yep.
Game 2 doesn't hit his threes, his step back threes. Like he just can't score in the paint for some reason. And it's not the defense; it's just his explosiveness at the rim. Like there's something off about Harden. Like
he's step back or bust.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it.
It's very like he's just high volatility depending on him making difficult shots or just jump shots. So Harden's I think he's a very one-dimensional like scoring. Like he's still an elite passer. Like some of his passes he's an elite passer. Like his 10 assists, like they ain't no fluke. Like this guy's an elite passer, but his scoring ability is just he's not there yet. So he's playing that CP3 role. So obviously other people got to step up to be the number 2 option of scoring behind Mr. Embiid because. Big guys, man. If you double team him, man, Joel Embiid, I don't really like his passing game. Like he got a little better, but his passing game is not his strength. So you got to have another secondary perimeter scorer to complement Joel if you want to go far in the playoffs. But Brooklyn Nets, no problem at all, man.
No.
No
Shout out Cam Johnson though, man. He's turned into a real nice player. Mikal Bridges, they got some nice solid pieces. I think, talked about this with a couple of people, but I think they'll end up blowing up a lot of guys on that team. The Dinwiddies, Seth Curry, etc. But yeah, man, I mean, it's kind of a lock in this series. I think this is a gentleman's sweep at best. And I don't know if we want to dive all the way going conference finals, but I know you mentioned the Celtics Sixers. If based on the way Harden played in Game 2 last night, I don't think they could take the depth of the Celtics, man. I mean, they got Brogdon off the bench. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. The fact that they can start Derek White and have that kind of firepower, and he's had nice games, man. Derek White's a solid player for them. So, if that is the matchup, that 2-3, I'm taking the Celtics easily in that one.
Yeah, the Celtics straight up punked the Atlanta Hawks their first game. Straight up punked them.
And they're punking them right now.
And they're on pace to have another blowout game right now. Because like Trae Young, man, congratulations on making it again through the play-in tournament, man. You're great at the play-in tournament, man. Being the Miami Heat shocked me.
Yeah.
But you just got a one-way ticket back to Cancun after 2 more games, man. You're gonna go to ATL, enjoy the weather, and then you're gonna go down somewhere else and enjoy your vacation, because this Celtics team is on a mission right now after last year's playoff collapse, because that's what it was. Jason Tatum didn't show up. He said he had like an injury or something about that, but he didn't show up in the finals, man. But this is his time to redeem himself, and he's putting up 30 points a game. All NBA caliber player. Jaylen Brown is trying to go for an all NBA team again this year, so you get that super max eligible extension that'll pay him over $200 million. So good luck to him on that journey. But yeah, right now, like the Celtics, I have a gentleman's sweep with the Boston Celtics over the Atlanta Hawks, man.
Hawks will get hot one game. The bogey will drop 30 or something.
I think they'll get one. They'll get one, probably the third one, because they'll get Trae will be shooting logo threes and going crazy.
He's ready.
But I don't know. I don't know in that next series. I don't know. I don't think that's an easy one. Just because of Joel. Love Rob Williams, but that's barbecue. And if he gets Rob Williams in trouble,
they have
that could be
the Celtics.
They're deep. They're deeper for sure. They're definitely deeper. But then it's like, I mean,
you got Brogdon and
if Tobias has his money, he could guard somebody. And then it's like, but to your point, they're going to be deeper. I would probably pick the Celtics to win. I just don't think it'll be an easy series.
Six games at best. I think it'd be a 6-game series, but I don't think it would be
just because respect to Joel.
Close 6 games. I think the Sixers would pull out 2 close wins, and the Celtics would win by 10 in 3 of their wins, or something like that. Yeah. But I think the big thing that could help the Sixers is if Harden just accepts his role. I genuinely think that's what he needs. Yeah. Take 9 or 10 shots, pray to God that you make 4 or 5 of them, and facilitate and get 12 assists. Help Maxey get that 33, because if he's getting 33 and Embiid's grabbing 20 boards, I know it's against the Nets and they don't really have a big man. But, I mean, second chance opportunities for him. Like you said, Rob Williams is, he's a good defender, but against a more elite big man, I don't know.
Yeah,
we saw him be elite against Bam.
Yeah, Rob Williams is a center, but he's 6'9".
He's good against a Bam.
Yeah, he's very good against perimeter players, playing pick and roll, switching screens and playing on the perimeter. But against Embiid, a man who's 7'2", 270, 280, with that athleticism, man, that's gonna be a really tough matchup. But my goodness, man, Sixers, this is your year though. This is your opportunity to get it done, and
it's also the Celtics here.
As a guy who picked the Sixers at the beginning of the year, man, James Harden, man, he bothers me a lot. He bothers me a lot, because this roster, if Harden was just at All-Star caliber mode, he's not playing like an All-Star. You cannot have 8 points against the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
it just can't happen. It can't happen.
He's like you said, he had the first great game, and to me, I don't think it would be a bad thing if, say, he's going. Say in the second game, for instance, if he has 8 points, goes 3 for 13, but if he's more of a facilitator where his scoring is not there, and then that could maybe offset it a little bit. And then if he has another bounce back game where he gets 25 or whatever, I wouldn't mind the up and down with scoring. I just feel like the facilitating needs to be there every game. No matter what he's scoring, he needs to be facilitating. And I feel like as the third option, if he's doing that, then Maxey, Embiid, and for what it's worth, Tobias could be getting off, and then I feel like they're a more dangerous team. And he may be, right now it might be just tough because he's still probably in the transition phase of that. Maybe next year he'll become more of a guy who does that, but we're belaboring that topic. I don't know if there's anything else in the East and you guys want to talk about unless you want to go to the West.
Not at this point. I think we got to see the Bucks play. I think that's going to be a big thing
tomorrow.
Got to see what Giannis is at.
Not that it's. If Giannis is out for, let's say, 2 games, do you think the Heat can win the series?
I think they could.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, I mean,
for sure.
They got big games from Strus, man, and I mean,
he's shooting a heck of a ball right now. He's shooting a heck of a ball.
And genuinely, he is taking Tyler Hero's position, right? And not saying taking away, future position, right? Like Hero will be back and it'll be a pivotal role, but he is filling in perfectly, if not better, than where Tyler Hero had been playing as of recent. So, yeah, I think we got to see games too.
Because I feel like I don't know what happened in that Atlanta game. Maybe they were just asleep. I don't know. That's just so crazy. And maybe they just wanted to avoid the Celtics.
Got out rebounded.
Yeah,
they got destroyed on the offensive glass.
Bam didn't really show up either.
6'9" center.
Yeah, but transitioning
West,
to the West, we have to start off. I feel like with the Kings and the Freak.
Oh, the Kings, baby.
I told you, fellas.
Like starting it off, I feel like. One thing that is apparent, or one thing that I would say I underrated, is Sacramento's crowd. I was saying earlier before the pod, they are very OKC-like, just in terms of their rabidness. And two, I underrated De'Aaron Fox. And you could say a lot of people have this year because, it's the Kings and nobody watches the Kings, whatever. But, man, watching that game last night, one thing about him that I really like is anytime Golden State, like when Klay hit those 2 threes or when Steph hit his little 3 in the corner in the first game, he just calmly came down, either got to the basket, could have got an and one, mid-range, and then that one where I think it was Davion in the corner, he swung it to the top of the key and he just nails that 3.
Yeah.
He just is resilient. He's just resilient as hell, man. He is not going to allow the aura and the prestige of the Golden State Warriors to be like, oh, well, now that we're coming back and we take maybe a 1-point lead, you guys need to crumble now. He's like, no. And it's I think it's fitting that his teammate Malik Monk, who's his teammate in college, I think they just have a chemistry of, okay, we've been to battle, we've been to wars, and we're just not going to allow this team to just come in and punk us. And for me, I still want to see them do it at Golden State because even to me, if they keep I guess home or serve at home, I don't want them in a game 7 with Golden State because then I think they'll lose.
Neither.
But
they have to split.
I am interested to see how they come out because they've had a better home record. I mean, away record. I'm not better, but I know they're like 25 and 15 or 16 on the road, so they're not going to be intimidated. And I don't know, man. Golden State, and this is going to sound crazy, but we got – and this is just because there are certain people who have people they like in the media and stars and all that stuff, but we should have a conversation about Steph in the clutch because that first game at the end, he shot that one-legged on purpose. He could have set his feet. And to me, he could have set his feet. I watched it a million times. He could have set his feet, bro. He didn't. And I feel like that's like the way he shot that one-legged is an excuse. So if he misses it, it's like, well, to the novice, to the person who don't watch basketball, it's like, well, he shot a one-legged, bro. Yeah, it's a tough shot. And it's like, bro, you're the greatest shooter ever. Set your feet and shoot. And I'm not a Steph hater because Steph is the greatest shooter. But
in the clutch,
he didn't shoot particularly well in game 2 either. And he had a lot of good looks. Mm-hmm. It's just when it's crunched, like nobody's saying Steph can't. You don't want the ball in Steph's hand, like controlling it. You don't want him controlling it and taking those shots. Because I mean, some may argue if you're a Golden State fan, I want Klay taking those shots. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't watch Golden State enough to be like, which one would I pick? But Steph in crunch time with the ball shooting, he is not good. He's just not good, bro. He's not good. He's not. Mm-hmm. He's good when he's up 10 shooting, because then he's just burying you. But when they're down 4 or 5, there's 2 games, and there's. I mean, now Nick Wright had a bunch of, and he's a kind of a hack, but he had a graphic talking about it, like, it ain't Steph's. I think shooting like with fourth quarter and clutch time, it's like 25%, and this has been dating back to what 2015, 2016 finals, like, and see, Golden State's not in a lot of. They're always blowing people out. So it's like you can't really. There's not a lot of moments of where you can see Steph in those things. But I think I got irritated because it's like, you're the greatest shooter. Get a better shot in that first game. Like, set your feet and try to shoot it. If you miss, you miss.
Well, and to be honest, it was a great pump fake. He had the chance to step.
Yeah, he was open.
He was open. I do think, and it's obviously we'll never know, but I think if he sets his feet, I don't know who it was, but somebody took a swipe from behind, and obviously because he floated
maybe it gets blocked.
it missed. But you could also say he could get fouled in that situation, right? And we know if he goes
And
to
he'll
the line,
knock
he's
him
probably
down.
making all three.
Yeah.
Right. Now, to be fair,
Elite free throw shooter.
He was the reason they were in that game in the fourth quarter.
No, nobody's arguing that. Nobody's arguing that.
So he's clutch. It's just that sometimes, man, you're right. When he's down, he's really good at like the up 2, I'm going to hit the dagger 3 to put my team up 5 with like 20 seconds. But if you're asking him to hit a game winner, not that he can't. We've seen him hit plenty of game winners.
Or to tie the game, yeah.
But it was a tough shot. It honestly looked good to me. When it released his hand, I was like, I swear to God, man, if he makes this shot, it was close. But man, I got to shout out the Kings, man. Sabonis, absolute monster.
Tough as hell.
Okay, actually, his worst shooting percentage game of the season.
He was pretty
in
bad.
game 1. But it didn't matter because Malik Monk was giving him 30 plus. De'Aaron Fox had a better playoff debut performance than your boy
Kevin
Derrick Rose
Herter
did by 2 points. Too.
That's another good.
He outscored D Roses.
Dropped the 38 piece, man. Very impressive.
He did, and he lit the beam. And they're the only thing is they have to split in Golden State. Because I don't want to even though, like you said, Sean,
definitely.
They are going home in Game 5, right? It'd be 2-2 if they did lose both games in Golden State. That means that they have to take one game in Golden State, or else it's over.
I'm not betting against Golden
no matter
State
how bad Golden State is on the road this year, I still do not like the Kings at home in a Game 7, man, in their first real playoff series. So
interesting.
But I do have them winning this series in 6.
Oh, yeah, the Kings winning the series.
Kings winning the series. Yep.
Yeah, before the series, man, I picked the Kings in 7, man. I picked the Kings in 7 over the Golden State Warriors, man. I have to apologize for them being a cute story. They ain't cute, man. They beautiful, man. It's a beautiful
real
team,
story.
Man. They're beautiful, man. That offense, the movement, the shooting, the dribble handoffs, the screen and rolls. It is a beautiful offense to watch. Like historically, statistically. Yeah, shout out to Mike Brown for that motion offense that he took from the Warriors and copy-pasted it, implemented it on this Sacramento team.
Yep.
And getting the role players in this offseason, a.k.a. Malik Monk, a.k.a. Kevin Herter, the shooters.
Yes, sir. Kevin Herter's so good.
That he wanted. Like, these are role players that a lot of people could have gotten, like, especially Malik Monk, man. He didn't sign for that crazy of a deal, like 2 for 19, like not that crazy after a good shooting year with the Los Angeles Lakers, man. So, like, obviously he said that he wanted to go to the Kings, obviously to play with his boy De'Aaron Fox. But if someone gave him a little more money, I think he would have taken the money, man. I would think he would have taken the money, especially on a 2-year deal. Like, 2-year deal, like, people don't really sign 2-year deals unless, like
LeBron James.
Exactly. I'm like legit. People want security, and obviously the market wasn't out there for Malik Monk. He's proven right now that he's a key cog to this team's offense, because right now his explosiveness at the 3-point line, his athleticism, his ability on the fast break, being a complimentary scorer with De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt, man, has been beautiful to watch. Man, De'Aaron Fox, man, not just offensively but defensively, man, he gets a lot of steals, man. Like swiping, no swiping, man. This guy taking their cookies every time, man, on the defensive end, especially from bigs that can't really dribble on the Golden State Warriors. Like Kevon Looney, this guy, he just like goes in and just takes the ball, and that dude is one of the fastest players in the NBA, man. Like, he's in that Derrick Rose, John Morant athleticism mode. John Wall. Like, he has that elite speed. He's in the top 1% in the NBA at speed. He's improved his jump shot. In the clutch, his jump shot just gets even better, either mid-range or 3-point line. Obviously, Golden State Warriors are playing the percentage because he's not a natural shooter compared to, like, other guys. So they're playing at the percentage right now. But in the clutch, this guy's hitting clutch mid-range shots. Shout out to De'Aaron for winning Clutch Player of the Year. Well-deserved. Led the league in clutch points, man. This guy's shooting elite efficiency in the fourth quarter, man. And obviously, Sean, you mentioned, man, this guy just doesn't seem to get rattled, man. He plays with high basketball IQ for a guy. Like, I can't even say this dude's a young player anymore because he's been in the league for 6 to 7 years now. He's just not been in the playoffs. But he is looking like a vet in the playoffs after the first 2 games against his Golden State team, because you're playing against the defending champs. You're playing against Steph Curry. He is guarding Steph Curry, man.
Yeah,
he is. That is exhausting, because usually your primary scorer or your primary ball handler, he's the guy that camps in the corner against the 3-and-D guy to rest him on defense. But this guy's taking the opportunity to step up on defense and being the primary scorer and the primary distributor. Like, that is just insane athleticism, insane endurance. Shout out for De'Aaron for being in such good shape, because guarding Steph and dropping 30, that is hard to do, man. So De'Aaron Fox, he like this dude's an All NBA guy. I have definitely in the All NBA selections this year, man. And the playoffs, he has not disappointed, man. So shout outs to De'Aaron Fox for being an absolute stud. Like he's the best player on the Kings, and he is showing why he was a lottery top 5 pick.
By far. I think we could. Sabonis is the glue. I think De'Aaron's the guy, right? But Sabonis is the glue. Guy. And man, their rotation. You got another guy we didn't even mention. Trey Lyles, man, had a great game 1. I mean, there's just a lot of these guys that they're very young, but man, that run and gun, the fast break ability, the transition, the quick passing and decisive passing. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. A lot of young teams. I mean, it's beautiful basketball to watch, man. It was honestly one of the most fun first round NBA games in game 1 that I had watched in a long time, especially that fourth quarter. You and I were going back and forth. It just the shot creation was ridiculous on both sides. I mean, we know what Steph can do. We know how Klay can get open and hit his shots. But man, it's just fun to watch a new team kind of rising and realizing that they are actually legit and not just a regular season team who got hot. So, yeah, Kings winning it, man.
And one other guy or two other players I want to mention, Davion Mitchell. I remember when they made that pick, and I was kind of like, he just seems like a 6'1" shooting guard. What is he going to be? But more so of just a
defensive bench guy.
Come off, defensive guy that could be a 6-man. But he has also taken the challenge to guard Steph. He's had Steph on some of those switches and stuff when De'Aaron if he wanted to take a break, and he's done very well on him. And that clutch 3 he made in the corner, I think, was very big just for his confidence and the team's confidence because, in that, situation, you may want Herder or somebody else shooting that shot, but he, rose up and shot it with confidence. And that was kind of like the dagger for that game. And I wanted to ask you guys, I don't know, I mean, you say you've watched the series, the first 2 games, but does anybody know where Jordan Poole's at? Like, the last I saw, he threw the ball to like the 10th row.
Brutal.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
I forgot about him, genuinely. Like, he's been that non-existent on the floor.
His basketball IQ in the last game was disturbing, man. It was disturbing. Obviously, Jordan Poole is a pure scorer. He's the
$100 million.
More than
and that hadn't even kicked in yet. That's the thing. They're going to have to make a decision probably with Klay and Jordan because that might be part of the problem. I think Jordan doesn't want to step on Klay's toes. And Klay's making it very hard to you can't just dismiss and be like, oh, we'll get rid of Klay. Oh, well.
Klay there's already reports out that they will be giving Klay Thompson a max extension.
Dude, after 2 major injuries, that man's lateral quickness on the defensive side is damn impressive. He's not that he's like the stopper that he once was, but he's still a damn good above average defender. And the way he just laterally moves on some screens, hitting that phone booth type 3-point shot, man. I mean, it's just he's a beautiful player to watch, man. He's got a great.
He's still an elite. Like this dude's shooting over 40% in the first 2 games. Like he's still an elite shooter, like one of the greatest shooters of all time. So for a guy coming up from catastrophic injuries, man, he's still playing all-star caliber basketball, which is hella impressive for coming back from multiple significant injuries. So Klay Thompson definitely deserves the max. So I agree that Jordan Poole might get moved due to the amount of salary they're paying these guys.
He seems like a player too that would be better. Like and I don't want to say this because it's like you don't want to wish this on a player, but he just seems like a type of the talent he is. It's like he would be great on like a bad team. He would be like 26 tonight on a bad team.
20.7 assists on these bad teams.
Yeah, it just seems like that's what how he plays because he doesn't play defense. He just likes to score. He's interesting, style style that he plays with. It just seems like that's where he could be destined. But I shouldn't say that because he was part of the team last year and they won a championship. So that's kind of unfair to say that.
He came in when Steph was injured.
He did.
Vital role. Steph was the 6th man, and Jordan Poole started the game.
What do you call it, Zoo? Regression to the mean, man. He's having a regression to the mean type season, or at least playoffs. So far,
the regular season he was getting 20 a game, so he's still a valuable player.
Of course. It's the jitters for some reason.
Last night.
Switching to Phoenix and LA. What I will say about that is watching Kawhi and KD go after it made me kind of feel a little bit of sadness just seeing the amount of times that before they could have been matched up with each other, but because of injury, it couldn't happen. I might have underestimated and this might be just one game, but I might have just underestimated the mental games that Russell might be playing with KD. Uh, and I don't know. Still have the Suns in it, but this is going to be an interesting game too because I will say Kawhi, we know he's just built for the playoffs, barring injury. He's going to get his points. He's going to impact you on the defensive end. That's just what he's going to do. But I am interested to see just with Russ, he didn't shoot well at all. But the reason why I thought he had an elite game is because he brought it on the defensive end. He was playing hard. He was getting like loose balls, offensive rebounds, tap outs. Like he was doing a lot of like just what a lot of teams want him to do now in his stage of a career. He was doing a lot of that in game one. Now that could have just been one game, and Phoenix may come out and blow him out and do what they're supposed to do. But KD needs to stop being passive. He needs to shoot more. Like he's the most efficient with the amount of shots that he takes. He should be in the 20 to 25 range every game. And this at least. He needs to be getting up his shots. He should not be passive. I don't know what on that team outside of D-Book should be like, well, I should just let Chris or I should just let Torrey Craig. And respect to Torrey Craig. Like he's a hell of a
game, man. Yeah, a hell of a game.
Yeah, and he had a good game. But Kevin Durant needs to be more aggressive. That's like a knock. Like he just wants to fit in so bad. And I don't like that because, dude, you need to go get it. You don't want to be in a 6-game, 7-game series with the Clippers, bro. You're Kevin Durant, and everybody chose, like, the majority of the basketball world, when Kevin Durant went to the Phoenix Suns, they were like, oh, they're going to win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Prove it. Because people keep doing it, but since Golden State, that hasn't been true. So are we liars, or are you going to be aggressive and go get it done? Like, you got to stop being passive. Like, I know that's part of his personality, but, bro, you're a dog. Nobody can block your shot. Stop deferring. I ain't going to lie. If D-Book is saying, well, I need to get my – no, Kevin Durant should be like, no, bro, you need me here. I'm the number one option. Don't defer. Because if he keeps deferring, this is going to be a long series. And then if you tell me it's game 6 or game 7 with Kawhi versus KD, I'm picking Kawhi.
Ayton should not be getting as many shots as he is. I mean –
that too.
I mean, to be fair, I think he had maybe 17, 18 points. I mean, you do need – if you can get 17 or 18 from DeAndre Ayton, that's great.
I want those to be hustled.
Ayton taking more shots than Kevin Durant.
Come
on, man.
That's just disturbing.
No, it's disturbing. And then you got CP3 just being an absolute bum. I mean, they can't have him scoring what? He had 7, 8 points, something like that. I mean, he had 10 assists and 11 rebounds. That's the most Draymond stat line.
But like his scoring,
you can't get a shot. It's not there.
Like they're just like leaving it. Like he's just not someone you focus on the defensive.
If he can't get his mid-range shot and an open 3, it's a wrap.
Like he hit that really deep 3, but that's pretty much it, man. Like CP3, like scoring wise, like obviously the dude's old, so I'm giving a break because he's dude.
I mean, he came a year after Braun. I mean, he's like what, year 19?
Yeah. The dude's almost 30, I think he might close to be 38 years old. So the brother is old. So the brother's really old in NBA terms. Like he's a grandpa, man. But what Kawhi Leonard did that game 1, man. This is why this guy load manages, because when he's in the playoffs, man, this is why he load manages. Like outside, like last time I saw Kawhi Leonard was bad in the playoffs was when he wet the bed in Game 7 against in the bubble. That was the last time I was like, yo, this Kawhi Leonard was trash. But this Kawhi Leonard, 38 points in the last couple of playoff series when he's been healthy. This has been automatic. Against the Dallas Mavericks a couple of years ago, the dude dropped in 40-point games. He legit went 1-on-5. Like his pull-up game from 3 from the mid-range is automatic. It's just like, come on,
can't block his shot.
Give me the ball. The dude's out there with freaking Plumlees of the world, man. Like the Zubac's, like
Bones Highland.
Jesus Christ. Bones Highland is terrible. I'm sorry. Bones Highland, man. This dude just chucks up shots, man. Like, I can see why Denver
he's on go mode all the time.
Got rid of it for nothing. They got rid of it for a second-round pick because they're thinking of Bones Highland's basketball IQ, because it is not there, man. It is not there. Like, the number of role players, and like Russell Westbrook, man, this dude, he shot 3 for 19. He was absolutely atrocious on the offensive end, scoring-wise. He took some of the dumbest shots I've ever seen. Every time he took a pull-up, like, Jesus Christ. He went that little bank shot, brick. Like, there's a reason why you call Russell Westbrook for a reason, man. It bothers you because you know it's true, man. You shot 3 for 19. So You know what he had to do,
and
man?
they still won.
They still won. Shout outs to Ty Lue for doing something smart, man. He put Russell Westbrook on Kevin Durant on defense. Really, really smart.
That mental game.
He's like, yo, Russell, brick it every shot. I got to do something else. Play defense. Because Russell Westbrook, they say he tries all the time. He plays with energy on offense, not on defense. On offense, he goes 100%, but on defense, he can be an elite defensive player. Since
KD's personal,
shots,
too.
Oh, yeah. And it's personal, man. Like, I'm guarding KD, and he was good, man. He got loose balls, poking the ball away. Like, he was up, like, in the body. Like, he was bothering Kevin Durant. So, Russell Westbrook's defense was absolutely elite. His offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding, like, whatever. The ball comes to you, you get a rebound. Offensive rebounds in the clutch, hitting the 2 free throws in the clutch, being a bad
that was probably his biggest moment right there. Yeah,
and throwing it off.
Devin Booker.
Yep, and then throwing it off him.
Clutch, and having the basketball IQ to bounce the ball off of D-Book, man.
Westbrook?
Oh yeah.
IQ,
man. He's showing that IQ there, man. That was a quick play, man. Like I give mad props on the intangibles, on the defensive end, getting offensive rebounds, showing energy. Like obviously the dude couldn't shoot at all, and they were just leaving him. But he was able to do other things. He just gotta downgrade the shot attempts. Like you shoot your 10 shots a game, man. Be the Draymond Green of the roster. That's what
he needs to do. He needs to do Harden. He needs to follow what we are saying about Harden. They're kind of at that same. Obviously, Harden's a better passer.
Harden can shoot over.
And Harden can shoot.
Harden still got a shot,
but Harden does not give a damn on the defensive side.
At least you know, Russ's athleticism is still there.
At least Ty Lue knows that he can put Westbrook in a not only personal situation, but just honestly, he can be that straight up with Russell and be like, dude, look, you're missing everything right now. We need you to be good elsewhere. And we saw it happen, man. So, and he also knows KD's game arguably probably better than most other people in the NBA, having played with him for so long. So, another thing to keep in mind.
Russell Westbrook offensively is probably going to be a little hot and cold. I predicted it before the series. I knew when Paul George got hurt, he's going to basically try to assume that number 2 role. I think where Russell could be successful, though, is how we were just talking about Chris Paul. He's a little bit older. Russell Westbrook is a little bit of a bigger athlete. If he could just assist, play with energy, move the pace, set Kawhi up, and get in the post and kind of maybe, abuse Paul a little bit and get some success that way, that could be a formula to maybe advance him to the next round. Because then if you have that and you're tiring out Paul on the other end, maybe that could, keep them in a situation where, I don't know, it's just you're chipping away because I kind of figure in this second game they're going to get, I don't want to say blown out, but they're going to get beat just because this is going to be a do or die for Phoenix, even though they'll not say that. But I think they're going to want to at least try to split this series. So they're going to, do what they got to do to get back to LA 1-1. But, as the series goes on, if he can also take the challenge of guarding Paul and just really making him, even though Paul had a bad game, just making him obsolete. And then you're looking at, a mano-a-mano battle of Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and then D-Book and whoever else. Because, as much as we talk about D-Book, he's going to get his points. But, I like Eric Gordon. I like Terrence Mann a lot. They got guys that can make open shots. And, I don't know so much with Bones Highland. But, Norman Powell's another guy. They got guys that could fill that void and make up some points to maybe equal up to Devin Booker. They can make open shots. So, it's just going to be interesting, man. I think Russell's definitely going to be looking at the mental side of this. He's going to be seeing, how can I get on Kevin Durant's nerves? But I just need Kevin Durant to be more aggressive. I'm sick of this whole
PG. If they make it through this series, man, this team could be a sleeper because they'll be playing the Nuggets in the second round, whichever team wins.
And that'll be a shock to the system.
As the Nuggets look.
Yeah.
As good as the Nuggets look,
it's going to be.
A healthy Clippers team could be tough.
Yeah, like Kawhi, he pulled off a miracle game 1 because Legio was 1 on 5 on offense. I don't think he's I had the Suns in 6 because there's no PG-13, man. You need a running mate right now. Kawhi is Batman. You need a sidekick. Ain't Westbrook, man. Ain't Westbrook. He ain't the dude. He's in that role player stage of his career right now, and obviously he could still do those things, but his willingness to do it, I don't know if this dude's like jacking the shots, he actually makes some shots. Is he going to try that hard on defense? Is he going to show that hustle? Because I know he likes the stats, man. He likes the stats. If you're getting buckets, I don't know if you can show those stats, especially on the defensive end where you don't see all the numbers. So, like, obviously this Suns team, you see their bench, very bad. Really atrocious.
Yeah, nothing.
Like this brother, this Australian, Landale, the dude is trash, man. Why is that dude taking 3 shots, man? Landale is trash. Like Wainwright,
TJ Warren, nothing.
Yeah, Warren is
Terrence Ross, nothing.
Like,
he literally was a bubble revelation, and that's it.
I'm like, the bench was atrocious. Like legit, when the bench was in, they got exposed. Like it's a very top-heavy team, obviously, but I'll take a top-heavy team.
Very. You know what? It reminds me of
very top-heavy.
It reminds me, even though Miami, the Heat had 3 stars, it kind of reminds me of like I feel like that LeBron first year, where it just is like who on the beach or not the beach bench could you like name? It's just a lot of James Jones respect. Like I think that was the second year though. I don't think he was there that first year.
That's when they started getting.
But it's
like
just a lot of names we don't know.
Oh, when they got Ray Allen.
That was Ray Allen was second. Was Ray Allen the first year? I think he was second.
No, he played.
Ray Allen was the second team.
3rd and 4th year.
Yeah, he was second team.
Or maybe second and 3rd year. I don't remember.
Yeah, second and 3rd. But anyways, it just feels like that. It's just, they don't have a bench. And and I was thinking about this when I was watching the Kings play. This NBA, because it's so good, like there's a lot of like not every team's good, of course, but like there's a lot of talent. The team is like the league is very deep with talent, and it's going to get even more talented when Wembanyama and that class comes in. It's a talented league, so I feel like you can't, and we're going to see it. I think once the post Steph, post LeBron, post KD stuff goes, like the way you need to build your team is with the 2 superstars, or maybe if you just get one and just a deep roster. That's because they always say stars win, and that's true. But if you can tell, like for a team we're about to talk about next, if you can tell me, like with the Lakers, if you give me LeBron and AD and then how they were able to finagle the trade deadline and get a deeper team, I would rather have that. Because, now you say you can get lucky with Austin Reeves because they didn't even draft him and he was just in their undrafted pool.
Yeah.
But, just with the amount of players like D'Angelo Russell, a lot of people didn't like him in Minnesota. I was one of them. But guess what? He's a better fit because guess what? He could shoot. You see Jared Vanderbilt. He's a guy who's a versatile defender. You look at Malik Beasley. He's had kind of off games, but he can get hot at any moment. Rui Hachimura, people forget, he was a lottery pick, but he's a better fit. Go figure with LeBron and AD. Like, so that means he's getting empowered by guys that are better. Yeah. I don't think Rui's listening to Bradley Beal and Kristaps in the locker room when they're trying to encourage him.
Listen to LeBron and AD though.
That's a hunch. Yeah. So, speaking of that series, I think this series all hinges on if Ja's going to be healthy. I mean, if he's not healthy, then it's just not going to be a good series.
After his
reaction, Jones, don't do that though. We got to respect Tyus Jones.
Okay, Tyus Jones is nice. He's the best back.
That's why I don't think the series is over.
No,
Tyus Jones, bro.
You got to keep this in mind. The Memphis Grizzlies are coming in injured. No Steven Adams.
Yeah, Brandon Clark. No Steven
Adams. No Brandon Clark already. And now they lose Ja Morant for probably the next game.
It's all on Dylan.
So they lost 2 starters, and they're key to the lineup. Like Steven Adams is really, really important. His offensive rebounding ability is needed. So the physicality, another guy to guard Anthony Davis, like they're coming in injured, and you're losing your point guard. I think it's a wrap. Like I had the Lakers winning this series in the beginning, but I had them winning in 7 before. But after this, I think it's over. I think it might be a 5.
You actually picked them in this series?
I picked the Lakers. Absolutely, man.
Wow. I mean, I had Grizzlies in 7.
They came in with 2 centers out. Like if the centers were healthy, I would have to think about it a little more. But with the injuries coming into the series, I'm like, no brainer. This Lakers team is rolling right now. You got LeBron and AD with good role players. What?
Yeah.
AD scared me for a second, though. He was just like, I can't move my arm. You're like,
the little stinger,
he's very dramatic. We just got to say,
he's very band-aid.
He's got injury PTSD. He just anytime he feels any type of pain,
he's got that osteoporosis.
He is very sensitive to injuries, man.
I mean, I do think that even let's say Ja's out, right, and we know about the other 2 there, on their front court side. I still think they could steal 2 games. Really? I'm not saying
I do too. I like Ty.
Because look, LeBron can't take over like he used to. Do you really think Rui and Austin Reeves are going to be
Rui's not doing
50 plus every game?
I mean, Rui Hachimura probably had the greatest game of his NBA career, shooting the basketball from 3. He was wide open.
Reeves
so the scheme was
they were allowing him to shoot.
That was the scheme. Obviously, his 3-point percentage, and they played odds. Rui had a hot day, his best shooting game of his career. But the number of role players that's stepping up, man. Yes. Austin Reeves is going to get a bag this summer.
From the Bulls.
He's going to get freaking paid.
I don't know who it is. But Austin Reeves, this dude is an undrafted dude, has never made significant NBA money. And he is balling out. Like, in the clutch, he is running high pick and roll with Anthony Davis, and LeBron's camping in the corner. Like,
chilling.
He's like, he went down, hit the mid-range, man, went down, hit a three. This guy is a starter after the trade deadline is putting up 18 points, like 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He's putting up NBA starter caliber numbers. Like, he is going to get a bag, and I'm happy for this dude from being an undrafted dude to becoming an NBA starter who's blossoming on the Los Angeles Lakers. And he doesn't seem scared at all.
No,
not timid at all. Like I sometimes see D'Lo looking a little like his first game he lost confidence. I just noticed D'Lo definitely lost confidence his first game. Second game he bounced back, had a good game shooting the basketball, had 17 points. That first game he lost confidence, but this guy just plays with tremendous confidence, man. LeBron loves this dude, man, and he trusts him like ball handling in the fourth quarter. So, like,
which that's what LeBron's always needed.
Some role players.
They've always needed a. Like with LeBron-led teams, as he's gotten older, he's always needed a secondary ball handler. Because I think as he's gotten older, he's kind of wanted to, he still controls the pace, but at times, like, kind of reminds you when he played with Kyrie, he would just throw the ball in the corner and let Kyrie go do his thing. Not saying Austin Reeves is doing that, but I'm saying, having another guy that can bring the ball up the court, do high pick and roll, do all that type of stuff and go into it. I like. For me, with the Lakers, I needed to see Bron back with the new nucleus because even when LeBron was hurt, Austin Reeves was still going off. So it was like I wanted to see, okay, how are they going to look when LeBron comes back? And Austin Reeves still is killing. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting because they are a great defensive team too. Like, and that's all instilled from Darvin Ham, and part of that too, why they're able to do that is because they have guys who are like Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley. Guys, Malik Beasley's not a defensive stopper, but they're younger legs who will go out there and try to defend. Rui Hachimura, he's another guy.
Shooter, man.
6'9",
he's a really
shooter, another menace.
He goes
He's
up.
to stop shooting threes, though.
Yeah, for sure. D'Angelo's not a defensive guy, but, he's a shooter, so it doesn't matter. But I'm saying, they have a nice – shout out to Pelinka, bro. He gets destroyed. That's probably because he's the LA manager, and whoever's in that position is going to get destroyed. But to only give up one first-round pick and get that team like it is
protected.
Yeah,
it was a protected pick. It was not an unprotected.
Got to give him a shout out for that. Yeah. So I think we've all. I mean, I don't think you guys want to talk about the Denver and Minnesota.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
At best,
I think that's
the Timberwolves win one game. I have it as a gentleman's
maybe, and that's just for respect to Ant. That's it. Just for respect to Ant, we'll give you one game.
Respect. Let's be honest.
No, he hasn't
had a great play in.
His jump shot's been off.
Yep,
it's been off.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. I don't want to give him an injury excuse. Maybe he's
locker room drama, boys. I think there's just some.
You wouldn't say.
You
wouldn't say locker room drama, huh?
Well, I'm just saying. I think it's. We thought maybe
the Timberwolves got another fight.
Man. Yeah, I mean, it's just
at least the opposing team this time. At least.
That's true. But my point is, they're just frustrated, man. All of them.
So that series is probably gonna be real quick, but
that's a reason why you get the number 1 seed, man. You get a nice little juicy matchup with the Timberwolves, man.
You gotta. You pick your battles, and the Minnesota. If they would have won that game in LA, maybe they'd be playing with more passion. In that 2-7 matchup versus Memphis, because they did take, I think, Memphis last year, 6 games, 6-7 games, I think, but I don't know. We can all agree, playoffs, first round, it's a little bit more interesting this year. The play-in added to that. Second round is going to be, I think, a real dogfight, but make sure you guys are tuned in to our podcast on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you also tune into our social media pages with bullheaded_pod on Instagram, TikTok, bullheaded864, YouTube, Quantrell Knows. We have everything that will be NBA related on those channels. NFL's coming up as well. I know some people like to watch the NFL and, consume the NFL draft. We'll be talking about that in the coming weeks, so you guys tune in for that. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we are.